Like I have learned to master suffering. You got to stop and think about the shit that I've been through, the shit that I've seen in prison. That's a lot of suffering, that's a lot of pain, and that's years and years and years. And I have appointments and I have friends in my life, and they come to me and they talk about their current suffering and they talk about their current state. And this isn't aimed at any one person directly, male or female, age or not, but sometimes I feel like telling people, like, just shut the fuck up.
New money coming in, bitch, I like my shit in all blue. I'm about to buy another truck and finna give away my crew.
So I had a conversation today with somebody that knows me very, very well, and she watches some of the content that I've been putting out, and she says some of it is inauthentic, and some of it is confusing because she knows me very well. And I remember one time, and Miles was there, you can attest to this. Remember when Carla asked me, has there ever been a time where I felt inauthentic or disingenuine on social media? Remember it?
Yeah, I remember.
And then the hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a little bit of a breakdown. Lately, I've been really, really thinking about it, right? Because this material was put so that I can reach out to my son. This video was actually put together so that maybe I can help other people to grow through suffering. Because from the time we're born, all we're doing is dying. From the time we're born, all we're doing is dying. We're taking in information. So since this channel has been here, I've talked about some pretty raw stuff, and Jen reminded me that sometimes she watches some of these videos and she can't finish the videos because of the amount of pain that I have had to go through even to make it out of that. And she's dealing with pain. We all deal with pain, and we all deal with trauma in different ways. And I think since the time I was a kid, I've learned how to cope with things. Like from the time I wanted to shoot my dad, from the time I was 10 years old, from the time shoving guns in my dad's mouth, and as of lately, a lot of conversations are arising about maturity, age. And then I have to stop and think about that I grew up very, very fast, and not everybody grows up maturity-wise at the same chronological order. We're here filming El Dorado Hills. I would have never thought that I'd be here in El Dorado Hills. And then last week I talked about the place that I'm at in my life. And at the end of the day, all we really want to do is to have somewhat of a productive life based on our intelligence that we have, based on our understanding. And then sometimes I rewatch the videos that I've actually put out there, and sometimes I do feel like I'm fake. Sometimes I feel like I don't know who I am just because of the many lives that I have lived. It's still me. It's not a dream. Like the gang life that I lived, I have to stop and realize that that person, that teenager, that child that enjoyed doing those things is still inside me. And every now and then it comes out, and it comes out in ways, maybe with psilocybin, or maybe when I get high, or maybe when I speak into the camera. And then sometimes I see some of the comments from some of the members, and they misconstrue what I said based on their own filters, based on their own history, based on their own life, and then they miss the entire point. And then rather than going in there and chiming in a negative way, I still try to be as respectful and as positive as I can, because I do want to invite more people onto this channel. But at the end of the day, I also suffer. Like I have learned to master suffering. You got to stop and think about the shit that I've been through, the shit that I've seen in prison. That's a lot of suffering, that's a lot of pain, and that's years and years and years. And I have appointments and I have friends in my life, and they come to me and they talk about their current suffering and they talk about their current state. And this isn't aimed at any one person directly, male or female, age or not, but sometimes I feel like telling people, like, just shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, your problems aren't that serious, and you're creating your own problems. The old me, if I can just go ahead and put the old me into present time, The old me couldn't respond the way that I really want to respond. And you want to know how I want to respond? Sometimes I just want to shoot a motherfucker. Sometimes maybe I just want to stab somebody. Sometimes maybe I just want to slap the shit out of somebody. But in today's time, in 2025, you can't do any of that. You can't slap somebody the way that you used to when I was in the 80s and 90s, and then you guys just fight and everything will be fine. Or maybe they have brothers or cousins and they come, you guys get into a shootout, just leave it alone. You can't do that. You have social media, there's bullies on there, and you have people that live in these areas like El Dorado Hills and Folsom, and they haven't really seen struggle or violence. They see it on television, they watch music videos, and they think it's cool, and they get into like arguments with their friends, but they haven't really been like in a serious fight where somebody's died.
Maybe. I mean, you live out here.
I haven't. That's a good one. I haven't done anything like that. I guess sometimes I don't know who I am. Like, I feel like I have lived so many lives. Like, I got 14 years out here. I just did the video with Josh when I went to Vacaville, when I filmed at Solano prison. And I have like 14 years of training and 14 years of a life that I've created for myself from a place that most people would not even come out in the same direction with the same drive and the same passion that I did, and that I can attest to. So there's something about me that I have learned how to survive, and maybe because I was getting beat from an early age from my dad, so maybe all of these struggles and all of this pain, I've just learned how to cope very well, and I've just learned to constantly survive. And in the midst of all of this, I was posed the question, what is my intention for this video? What is my intention for this channel? I think my intention first and foremost would probably be, if I can reach somebody and I can help you cope with your current pain and struggle, I'm grateful. At the same time, I still show up for all of my appointments. Like, this is just what my morning looked like today. I can't sleep. I've been having nightmares, which I mentioned at the hot tub. I have nightmares because of my past. I have nightmares because the shit that I've done. Sometimes I wake up with night terrors, and then I can't sleep. So if I can't sleep, I can't function properly, and I just keep functioning. I just keep doing. Most recently, we swapped rooms. Like, the room that I used to sleep in is now my dog sleeps there, and I swapped into the other room. It's smaller. I don't like being at home. It's uncomfortable for me. And in the midst of that, in prison, it's very uncomfortable, but you still got to go to bed. Like, I have all of these correlations to pain and suffering, and I associated the prison.
How could you help yourself feel better?
It's just time. Because it's self-talk. It's the same self-talk that I gave myself in prison. From the time I was 10 until I realized that I didn't want to do this anymore, that was my family. That was a sense of betrayal that I had to live with. Like,
and you're
it's
applying
like
that same self-talk to right now?
To right now, yeah. And it's not a comfortable self-talk. I know that everything that I did, in any relationship that I'm with, I know that I'm authentic in that relationship in that given time. But I do have a process that if I feel like somebody's wasting my time, I am very good at my bullshit reader. The speaking that I did at Lifetime, I knew half of those people in there were just feeding themselves bullshit every single day. They go to work, act like they want to help people, they want to make money. Or some people are still training at other facilities. I don't give a fuck what they do. And then they come in and say that they're not. It's just it's a lot of facades, and it's a lot of masks that people wear. The problem is that I'm very, very open with these masks, which is why I associate with the Joker so well. Look at him. He's fucking insane, but he's a genius. He does what he wants to do, and people don't understand him, and he doesn't even understand himself. He basically morphs into whatever he needs to in that time, and he does what he wants to. And sometimes I feel like the old me wants to come out. And it's not safe and it's not appropriate for that old person to come out. But the moment that these things happen in my life that causes me to suffer and it causes a lot of pain, the old me is more susceptible to coming out. And I still show up for my clients. And I have found that today we use every single excuse not to show up for people in our lives that really matter. We use words like anxiety, stress, depression, overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed. Bitch, you don't know what overwhelmed is like. Being overwhelmed, to me, I do not know what being overwhelmed looks like, because I can't remember the last time I was allowed to be overwhelmed without getting my ass beat. So I guess I can't be that. Like, I don't
You're not
know
going to get your
how
ass
to-
beat now if you take some time for yourself.
No, definitely not.
There's
But
not going to be any punishment for you taking time for yourself to process what you're going through.
I'm not concerned about I'm not concerned about that. I'm not concerned about getting my ass whooped. What I'm concerned about is
But you said you're talking to yourself the same way, which isn't good, right?
no, it is good because I talk myself up, not down.
Okay.
So
But you were
I'm
talking
navigating.
you were talking yourself up when you were younger, or no? 'Cause
Oh
you
yeah,
said-
look where I'm at. I've always talked myself up, never talked myself down. I never had doubt that I wasn't going to accomplish something. I have learned how to survive.
What could keep your old self from coming to the surface? Because you said that that's not good.
Not doing drugs, not drinking, being sober. That will keep it where it's supposed to be at bay, because that's what it takes. Like, I need to sit with all of this, and I need to sit with the fact that some people out there listening, all around me, my close friends, my family, some people are just going to suffer until they die, and they're just going to use their excuses until they die, and they're just never going to grow. And unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. But in the midst of understanding that I'm not one of those people, I still sometimes struggle with my identity. Who am I? Am I a 14-year trainer? Because prior to that, I spent 12 years in prison. And let's not get into all of the things that I've done to survive in there. And then prior to that, I was a career criminal from the time I was 10 until I went to prison. So we got from 10 until I went to prison at 20. Then we got from 20 until 32. I only got 14 years. I am not that far off from my old self, if you do the math. I have lived longer doing corrupt, bad, villainous things like the Joker than I have doing good. And the more good that I do, sometimes even talking about these things, I don't boast about the things that I did. I just put it out there. This is what made me through my suffering. And sometimes when people comment like I am glorifying, or I am delusional, or I am a narcissist, or I am egotistical, maybe I'm all of those things, maybe I'm none of those things. It's the same thing that I've been telling people. I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm not a trainer, I'm not a drug addict, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm none of those things, and maybe I'm all of those things. And the problem with society is they want to attach themselves to one thing. I'm a wife, I'm a cop, I'm an attorney, I'm a like, why don't you just go through life existing and living? Because at the end of the day, we started to die when we were born, and us constantly looking for more and what else is out there, I think that we are enough. We are enough. What I'm currently doing right now is enough. And this whole bigger than myself things that we constantly search for, those are just distractions. Which is why I think I can show up for my clients and still be in pain and still suffer and still give them attention. And at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with suffering.
No.
That doesn't mean that we need to suffer forever. You can be a phenomenal sufferer. I'm trying to empower. And maybe in the midst of trying to empower others, maybe I'm also trying to empower myself. At the end of the day, we're all trying to figure things out to the best of our ability. And if you want to figure things out from a different perspective, I'm just going to have to go back to what got me out of prison, which is literature, the ideas and thoughts of other people, because those thoughts may actually help me cope with some of the things that I'm currently dealing with, whether if it's my stuff or my client stuff. Like I get emotional dumped. I call it emotional dumping, right? Because I see a lot of people every single day, and I take it on. And some people can't handle 12, 10 appointments a day. They just can't. They think they can. They're too distracted. People are just too in their own worlds. They're distracted with, like, I need to get my hair done, I need to get my nails done, I need a new outfit, I need some new shoes. These are all distractions, and we lose the true meaning of what we're intended to do, which I'm not here to tell anybody. This isn't a religious sermon. This isn't me trying to preach my beliefs. This is just me sharing some of the struggles that I'm currently dealing with which I wouldn't necessarily call it imposter syndrome, because I don't feel like I'm an imposter. I'm very good at what I do. But because I've lived so much, sometimes I revert and my thoughts go back to the person that I used to be, even though I know that that's not the person that I want, because in society, that person isn't accepted. I didn't dig myself out of prison to go backwards. I dug myself out of prison so that I can go forward. And last I checked, if you look around, I'm not doing too bad.
No, man.
And my mama didn't put me here. My daddy didn't put me here. I put myself here through the pain and struggle that I've overcome, and that I like to teach other people. So it's the people that I help that have actually put me here. And it's because of people like you, Miles, that works with me and films that I'm able to put this content out there. And for anybody out there that's suffering, whether it be heartache, loss of a loved one, loss of a pet, some people take, loss of pets very serious, or loss of an identity, loss of a career. You just got to put one foot in front of the other and keep march forward. Just march forward and just act, be different, be more powerful.
New money coming in, bitch. I like my shit in all blue. I'm about to buy another truck and finna give away my crew. I'm shooting shit like Paul Pierce, bitch. I ball, yeah, I'm the true.